month's edition of Fireside Chat. We are glad to host Amit Jangir, co-founder Carbon. Since its inception in 2019, Carbon has been a torchbearer for startups and MSMEs when it comes to credit availability. Carbon has been instrumental in assisting over 1,500 plus companies processing over more than $100 million transaction volume annually. The services which make Carbon offerings unique include instant account opening, zero hidden charges on top of a flexible payment instrument. With the recent entry into Y Combinator, I'm sure Carbon will bolster many new functionalities and expand its area of operations. Thanks for your time, Amit, and welcome to the session.
Thank you, Chinar.
Devang, VP Business Development M2P, will be joining Amit for this session. Devang holds an experience of more than 10 years in the banking industry. He has been part of mega organizations like Citibank, DCB Bank, and the RBL Bank. Devang currently supports M2P for its market expansion in Asia and Middle East. Welcome to you too, Devang.
Thanks. Thank you, Chinar. Thank you.
So without wasting any time, Devang, over to you, and you can take this discussion ahead with Amit.
Chinar, thank you. Amit, thank you so much for your valuable time. Means a ton for us. Okay. I think Chinar spoke about Carbon, right? But I think it will come if you can tell us a journey, right? How the Carbon started, what is your growth from a people to a business to a market. That will give a more just. And of course, you should talk about yourself as well, Amit.
Yeah. I think before I deep dive into the business metrics, I'll give you a quick backstory. About how a company essentially got founded. So prior to doing Carbon, me and Pei, who's our current CEO, we used to do VC, right? And a large part of what we used to do, we used to look at companies that were successful overseas, right? But be it in China, be it in the US, and used to try and invest in those similar business models overseas, right? So very analytical approach towards investing. So that for roughly around 3 years. And that's where we essentially came across Brex, right? So it's a company that's also works with a bunch of startups in the US. And that's when we decided we had to invest in a similar company in India. So we spent roughly around 6 months speaking to people, speaking to companies who were in adjacent areas who could also pull a corporate card model off. And when that didn't come to any sort of result, we just knew we had to do it on our own, right? So we both relocated back to Bangalore, and we built a core team around people we had met during our VC days, right? So people who had built core infrastructure at banks, people who had done product at amazing companies, and some people from our portfolio companies. That's essentially how we got set up. I still remember meeting Madhu in that Indranagar Starbucks, right? And they were basically instrumental in helping us get started. And I think we did our first transactions as a company back in June, July. I went to buy ice cream from downstairs. I was amazed the card actually worked. Then post that in October, we had our first live customer transaction. And since then, as of last month, we've done roughly around $8 million in monthly transaction volume, good revenues, good customer growth, anywhere between 25 to 30% month on month. Yeah, it's been an amazing journey, during the entire time frame. From serving just 10 customers a month to working with over 1,500, it's been amazing.
Sure, I'm sure. But the credit card market, right, is people say in India, it's yet to come. It is underpenetrated. Okay, it's yet to start. Okay, and of course, there are a lot of nuances across. Okay, and there are a lot of options also with the ecosystem which you're trying to address, right? The startups, corporates, etc. How do you say and how do you feel what is Carbon doing separate, or what is your USP to get that ecosystem? It can be a startup, it can be a corporate or Indian.
I think it obviously depends on the nature and size of business. But I think one thing we really pride ourselves on is speed, right? If you want to get a corporate card tomorrow, you come to Carbon. Because you open an account with us today, you apply today, you will get a functioning card with you tomorrow. The other thing we've really addressed is, so typically credit cards have not been an instrument that banks or other financial institutions have really targeted. And because of that, the kind of credit limits that are issued are quite low. But today, a startup like in any given month is spending, let's say, between 2 to 3 crores a month on a
Yes.
credit card. So you're also
True.
able to offer like really high credit limits to these companies that need the product just to function, right? Things like AWS marketing, basically all run on Carbon today.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we have really focused on, because I think like as most of us, when you think of a credit card, we obviously think about like getting a really good card and the branding and everything, but we also think about the customer issues, right? If
True.
you've ever had a problem and the amount of pain that you go through.
Yeah.
So that's another thing we really focus on, having like a really good customer service. If you have any issue, you know that as soon as you report it to us, we'll take care of it for you and it'll be resolved in 24 hours. So those are
Sure.
some of the key things we've focused on. Of course, there are others, but I don't want to digress too much.
No, so I agree. I mean, we have experience, right?
Yep.
As an M2P, as an organization, we have multiple cards of carbon, right? The way we have been onboarded, okay, the way we are KYB and KYC has been done for the respective individuals
Right.
was seamless. So yeah, I have that experience and I know the
Yep.
back.
Yep.
Amit, you know, right? BNPL now, it's like the
Yep.
next wave which is coming. Wherever you
Yep.
see it, the
Yep.
moment you're on LinkedIn, you'll see like
Yep.
BNPL everywhere. Okay, what do you think will be the role of a credit card once the BNPL offering, okay, is up and running or strengthened? What do you feel?
Got it. So I think like both BNPL and credit cards address credit needs for a customer at different points of time, right? A BNPL is of course like the one product. It's linked to like one, let's say one particular brand. But a credit card is something that is universal, right? You can use it at any given merchant, whereas BNPL is restricted. Um, and I think both of them will actually grow together in tandem. If you look
Sure.
at the sort of credit penetration in India, that I'll just give you a figure, right? If you look at the US and you look at like credit cards as a percentage of GDP, it's around about 20%, right?
True.
In India, that figure doesn't even come close to 2%. So there's like a huge space for credit to get penetrated, whether that happens through BNPL or credit cards.
Mhm.
Is something that only time will tell. But I
Sure.
think they will both exist in tandem.
Mhm.
And BNPL will sort of evolve into like more credit card esque instruments,
Sure.
right?
Sometimes competition gives you an advantage, right?
It's good, you know, like
It's good.
the market opportunity in India is so huge,
Mhm.
and the need for educating people about these credit card products or these credit instruments is so huge that you need different products like this to come out. And the more people that come in, the better it is. I always welcome
True.
competition because that means it's a healthy sign that the market exists.
Yes, true. Absolutely. And you spoke about both sides, right? Credit
Mm,
as well as PNPL. So now focusing coming back on credit card.
mm,
And now you know, right? In India, you still need a bank who can power the
correct,
product, right?
correct.
And you have multiple steps. Either it can be an onboarding, or you can do a KYC, or you can do
Sure.
a fund movement, etc. What, as per you, okay, and as per your experience, okay, which leg is like a sort of a challenging leg to digitize the entire process from an onboarding to an execution to the, or giving the card to the last mile?
Correct. So, I mean, it depends on what angle you're looking at. If you're looking at retail, I think RBI and everything that they've done has been amazing, right? And NPCI, RBI together have done like really amazing things. So they've really simplified the onboarding process when it comes to individuals. I think for companies, though, there's not been like a real focus, and that's something that could definitely be improved. But we're fortunate again to have you, to have amazing people at SPM to help us out. So we've been managing that. It's a bit painful at our end. The customer doesn't feel it, but onboarding is something that could definitely be improved.
Sure, sure. You spoke right, right. Thanks to us. I'm just saying, how do you know about M2P? How did you get to know and why M2P? You have a lot of partners, right?
So yeah, I mean, I've been in touch with M2P like since 2017, right? Even before we start the company. And I think back then I was speaking to um, Madhu primarily to for like one of our portfolio companies because Invest I used to just go and help our companies out with the partners they needed to work with. And I spoke to everyone who's there in the market, right? As like any good VC investor should, they
I
should
am
speak to
sure.
everyone in the market. And the only one who gave me confidence, like more than anything else, right? More than the tech stack, more than the people you were already working with at that point of time. The thing that gave me confidence was the extreme positivity you guys had. Right? When I spoke to every other player, they're going to be like, hey, it's going to take you 12 months. You're going to have to go through a lot of pain, whatnot. But the kind of positivity that I got from Madhu, even from you, you were also there, um, was amazing. And that's basically what enabled us to work with M2P. And that decision is basically paid off. Like you look at every other competitor that's out there for you guys, they've all suffered, right? They've all had like multiple issues, but even though if you've had issues with M2P, they've been resolved extremely quickly. So we've been extremely happy working with you guys.
Sure.
And then of course, like the tech stack that you guys have, whatever Prabhu's built out is also phenomenal as well.
Sure. So I'll tell you, right? I mean, from the experience, right? Always the first step is difficult. Then after that, it's up to you. You want to walk, run, or rocket sky, but yes, it's up to you. Brilliant. Okay. But I mean, the last thing from our thing is like fintech globally is expanding, right? You see everywhere, you see a lot of global expansion across the market. So what I was saying is fintech, okay, overall in global, right? You see whichever ecosystem, okay, talking about Asia, talking about any, okay, wherever you see, you will find fintechs. About carbon, right? As you are born and brought up, I can say in India, okay. What are your plans? Okay, expanding, or you still want to maybe stay for some time in India, experience that ecosystem, and then jump into different countries? What are your plan of expansion basically for the next maybe 1 year, 3 year, 5 year?
So I think like 1 year for sure. India, we have a lot of work to do here. And India is like an amazing market. There are like so many problems to solve for. So you're definitely going to spend some more time here. But having said that, we do look at, I would say, especially the Asian bloc, be it China, Indonesia, Thailand, as definite countries we will enter. We're also like we did some initial discussions about the Middle East.
Sure.
I think we would definitely take a call on it within the next couple of years. But right now, focus on India and then probably go after the Asian bloc.
Sure, Amit. So Amit, you play as you rightly said, right? We are also now well connected, of course, thanks to Madhu. But yeah, Amit, I know you like you have been a super influencer, okay, from a fintech ecosystem standpoint, and a rock solid, reliable person, right? I still remember there are a lot of leads which are still a sort of a referral to us, which comes from you, right? And there's like a mouth publicity which happens. For you, I just have one word. So it was what the mobile company had a tagline, right? Connecting people. So for me, you are one person who will connect across. Okay, thanks, Amit. I think this was the thing which we were targeting. Coming from you means a ton for us. Okay, last few closing comments from your end, and yes.
I think you guys have done an amazing job, right? If you just keep what you're doing, you guys will do insanely well. You have like a rock solid team. All the new people that you also bring in, you've been extremely good at hiring, right? Which is a problem that companies start failing at scale. But you guys have done a phenomenal job there as well. Like everyone who we work from, right from our program sort of manager, right to Madhu, like an amazing set of people. And that's a simple reason I refer people to you, right? I don't do it because I have some vested interest in like sending people to M2P, but I do it because I honestly believe that you guys have an amazing product and an amazing team.
Sure, Amit. Thanks, Amit. Thank you so much. Appreciated your time. Okay, pulling out. Okay, good luck. All the best. Looking forward.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
You guys take care as well.
Thank you.